Hi, welcome to my channel. Please like, comment, and subscribe. A claim for unseaworthiness is quite severe. An unseaworthiness claim only requires the presence of an unsafe condition, hazardous procedure, or policy or defective equipment. Once a seaman proves a vessel is unfit for its intended purpose, a court will impose strictly liability on the employer or vessel owner, which means liability regardless of fault. Under this claim, as injured, a seaman can recover damage for medical expenses, physical injuries, pain and suffering, and lost wages. The third type of claim available to a seaman's survivors is a wrongful death claim under the Deaths of the High Seas Act. When a seaman is tragically killed at sea in the course of his or her employment, a surviving family member can bring a wrongful death claim on his or her behalf. This claim is similar to a negligence claim under the Jones Act. Upon proof that the employer or vessel owner's negligence caused the seaman's death, the deceased family may recover damages for any medical expenses sustained in treating the deceased before his death, pain and suffering, and loss of familial income. The Jones Act can also supplement this statute and provide an additional means of recovery for the decedent's relatives. An experienced Lafayette Jones Act attorney knows what it takes for a seaman to prove his or her case in court. At Broussard and David, our attorneys have years of experience helping injured seamen successfully bring claims under the Jones Act. We work to ensure you receive fair and adequate compensation for your injuries or loss. To discuss your question with a Jones Act lawyer in Lafayette, contact Broussard and David. Americans treasure the Gulf Coast for its rich natural resources and breathtaking beauty. Stretching across the southeastern region of the United States, the Gulf Coast is made up of states that share a border with the Gulf of Mexico, including Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and also Florida. Our Lafayette maritime lawyers are proud to have made our homes here. In the last 60 years, the Gulf of Mexico has become a rich source of petroleum, with thousands of oil platforms in the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf Coast is now the heart of the oil industry in America. The Gulf Coast also holds two of the world's busiest ports in Houston and New Orleans. This vibrant industry presents unique consideration under maritime law. Broussard and David is a Louisiana law firm that specializes in maritime law. Based in the Lafayette area, our maritime attorneys have years of experience protecting the rights of maritime workers across the Gulf Coast and understand the unique legal issues that arise in the Gulf of Mexico. After the Deepwater Horizon oil spill, Americans saw just how dangerous maritime work in the Gulf of Mexico can be. Today in the Gulf, 2/3 of all oil production results from similar deep-water drilling. Unfortunately, deeper drilling also involves inherent dangers and risks for workers. Offshore workers in deep-sea drilling are more likely to be involved in accidents, including falls, spills, explosions, and fires that are caused by equipment failure or a lack of adequate employer supervision. In addition to these dangerous working conditions, offshore workers and their employers are under constant pressure to increase production in the Gulf. With this pressure, employers are more inclined to cut corners when it comes to safety or to drill deeper at their employees' expense. After suffering an injury offshore, an injured worker should resort to maritime law for legal resource. Maritime law and the Jones Act are often available to Gulf Coast workers who suffer an injury in the Gulf of Mexico. At Broussard and David, our Lafayette maritime attorneys have represented workers who have suffered injuries in accidents on oil platforms. jack-up rigs, semi-submersible rigs, and drill ships. Depending on the facts surrounding your employment and injury, you may be entitled to maintenance and cure payments and compensation for lost wages, medical expenses, and also pain and suffering. Our nation depends on the Gulf Coast region for oil production. Each year, Gulf Coast oil rigs pump nearly 1.2 million barrels of oil per day. With these high output demands, an oil rig can quickly turn into an unsafe workplace. Research and David is a personal injury law firm that represents clients injured in oil rig accidents. Our Lafayette oil rig accident lawyers have successfully litigated many cases involving offshore workers and have the experience needed to protect your legal rights. So many factors can contribute to an oil rig accident. Common causes of oil rig accidents include equipment failure, extreme weather, exhausted or overworked workers, and hazardous chemical exposure. Employers also have a duty to maintain a reasonably safe workplace for its workers. Federal law governs maritime law claims and offers special protection and rights to maritime workers, including oil rig workers. The oil rig accidents attorney at our Lafayette firm recognized that determining your rights and remedies under federal law depends on the facts and circumstances surrounding your employment and the accident. The Longshoremen Workers' Compensation Act or LWCA or the Outer Continental Shelf Act or OCSA may apply to oil rig workers. The LWCA is a federal statute that provides workers' compensation to maritime workers, including oil rig workers, who suffer an injury or who fall ill on the job. On the other hand, if a worker works on a rig in the outer continental shelf, the OCSA may apply. Both statutes provide compensation for injury, death, illness, and disability, including compensation for a worker's lost wages, medical expenses, and also the rehabilitation. An oil rig accident can have a drastic impact on a worker's ability to earn a living and can be an emotional and trying experience for both the worker and his or her own family. Our Lafayette oil rig accidents attorney offer the attention you and your family need to understand your legal rights and assert your legal claims. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and also subscribe.